How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the UKnowAdamTsang podcast. It's your host, Adam Tsang, and today I'm with Skyla Lynn, aka WheezyFitness 2.0, with over 300,000 followers on TikTok. Skyla, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, Skyla, obviously TikTok is kind of like, the main platform that you're accustomed to. But before we get into that, I guess tell me a little bit about yourself.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so like basic information?
Any information.
Okay, any information. Okay, I am from Statesboro, Georgia.
Okay.
I moved to West Virginia with my family when I was 4. And then we moved back to Statesboro, Georgia on my 12th birthday.
Okay.
And fun fact about me is I was actually super quiet and shy.
Really?
Very. Like, you wouldn't know now because I just can't shut up. But I was very shy and bashful, but I was homeschooled, so that's kind of why.
From 4 to 12.
Yes.
And then when you came back, tell me kind of like what, I guess, did you go into the public school system at that point, or?
No, my mom actually continued to homeschool us. So I graduated in the house. It was nice because I got to eat all the snacks I wanted while I was in school, work in my PJs, and you only had to do 4 hours at a time.
Tell me about kind of why she made that decision.
Well, my brother was a bit of a troublemaker.
Oh, yeah?
He got in a lot of trouble when he was in high school, and she just knew that she couldn't really control the types of people that we were around, and she wasn't about the school system at that time.
Okay.
So she felt like she would have more control of how we kind of grew up if she homeschooled us. And she was right. I mean, we did miss out on, like, prom, stuff like that, but we were very active kids, and we went to my grandmother's for, the weekend, where it's been weeks at a time, playing with the neighborhood kids. We met a lot of people in church. So we had relationships outside of homeschooling, but that's just her main focus was to make sure that we grew up to be the type of people that she wanted.
Yeah, in this world that we currently live in with so much craziness out there, I think it's very important for, parents to realize that, to try to, protect their children as much as they can. How do you feel about that? Do you think that was the correct decision? How do you kind of like, I guess, look back on that, and do you wish that you had like kind of like a public schooling system, or?
Not necessarily. I think she made the right decision because of the location.
Okay.
We grew up in Logan, West Virginia, and it's a very high drug rate there. Like, it's bad. Like, not even over exaggerating. There were certain bridges that you would go under, and there'd be stop signs. Well, you couldn't stop there without like hookers or people like that trying to open your car, and they didn't care if they had kids in the car at all. So the school system was just heavily like drug populated and everything. So even though we might not have, decided to do stuff like that, she did not want us to be around it. So I don't think, she made the wrong decision at all. I do wish I had like more experience, like, hanging out with a lot of friends and going to proms and dances and things like that. But I don't regret her making that decision at all.
That's awesome. So take me a little bit further. So we come back to Statesboro at age 12, and what do we do at that point?
So basically, we lived out of boxes for a few months because.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a 2-story house living in West Virginia, so we moved into this super tiny house with all this crap that we had no room for. So we had like boxes stacked to the ceiling. Our mattresses there was like 5 different mattresses stacked on top of each other. And so for the first couple months until we could get through all that, we all laid on that huge mattress pile to go to sleep. So it was kind of like, it was fun, but it was also scary because you didn't know if you were going to fall off that night, and sometimes you did. But she was a single mom, and we were little, so it wasn't like we could like completely unload things for her. So it was a process, and at first we were kind of sketched out by it. It was weird. We were away from all of our family, all of our friends. Thankfully, we did have some childhood friends in Statesboro that we hung out when we first moved back. So it was an adjustment, but it was nice.
How many kids at this point? So how big was the family?
Me and my sisters.
Uh-huh.
It was just three of us.
The
three
three of you?
sisters. My brother
Uh-huh.
stayed in West Virginia with my dad.
Okay, so he stayed in West Virginia.
Yes.
Gotcha. Did you go to high school, or was that still through homeschool?
Still through homeschool
Uh-huh.
until I graduated.
And then what happens?
Well, I didn't go to college.
Okay.
Or anything like that. We didn't have the money for it or grants or anything. So basically, I've just been working since I was 15.
Okay.
And just kind of like job hopping throughout until I got a feel for, what I wanted to do. So my first job was working as a lifeguard at Splash in the Borough.
Okay.
And I was there for about 5 summers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and I was a server. I don't know how long you've been in Statesboro, but it used to be Gatta's Sports Bar and Grill.
Okay. I'm familiar with that.
I did not like it.
What didn't you like about it?
They're just nasty people. Like, I did not like the owner at all. He was into some very bad things, and there were several times I would walk out to take the trash out or something, and I would witness these things, always yelling at all the employees, just belittling them, and that's not how you encourage them to do good at all. But I was good at what I did. I was top server and top hostess, and then I actually ended up getting really sick. I've had severe chronic asthma most of my life, so it got to a point where I was getting sent to the ER like once or twice a month. So I actually ended up having to go on disability for a few years until we kind of got a grasp on my asthma, and then I went and applied at where I work now, South Beach Shanty Company.
And how long have you been with them?
3 years.
Okay. And how has that experience been?
It forced me to grow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest. Going into it, like, it was just one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go all over Statesboro and apply. I don't care where it is. I did not want to go back to the food industry just because I felt like me personally working at Gatta's, but it was, it was a terrible ownership.
I can tell, like, coming from my standpoint, like, not all service industries are like that.
No.
So I'm sorry that was your experience in that.
No, I was just like, here, like, if I'm waiting, like, I don't know if you realize, I come here a lot and get, like, pickup on weekends and stuff. But they are always so nice. If I have to wait, like, 5 minutes, more than what they expected, they're coming out giving me coupons, or I'm so sorry for your wait, that's not acceptable, just overly, they're all about customer service.
That's right.
But I just think where it was kind of like a sports bar and grill, it was just very belittling, and the guys that you served were just nasty and inappropriate. So it put a bad taste in my mouth when it came to the service industry. So I went out, I applied pretty much everywhere except for restaurants.
Okay.
And originally when I went to South Beach, I'm going to be just straight up, I went there thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy job. I can just set people on tanning beds. I get to tan for free. Who doesn't want that? I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like, the owner at the time, she had recently just had a baby, because 9 times out of 10, she's in there. She's hands-on. She just had a baby. And the manager at the time, she was actually applying for different jobs. So I was kind of just, like, thrown into everything.
Sure.
Like, I had to study the South Beach Bible. So it's this huge manual you have to read.
Is South Beach like a corporate or
it's
like a franchise? Okay, got you.
It's the largest tanning franchise.
Understood. So they have instruction manuals. So you had to study the Bible.
Yes, this huge Bible. You had to complete it within, like, the first and second day, and then you had to fill out questionnaire, basically, and then you start your hands-on training. So they realize that not everyone works at the same pace, so they approach it in several different options to give you a chance. Reading, writing, hands-on, and then you kind of role play and everything. But it was a lot, and this was during mini busy season. This is like October, and this is when everyone's, they have rush, and they have these formals, and
everybody's trying
holidays.
To get tan.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was like, I was just kind of like thrown into it, and it was like, if you sink, you sink. If you swim, you swim. So I was forced to figure things out on my own. And then I wasn't there like maybe a month or two, and they offered me a manager position.
Awesome.
Like, when I go into something, I ask so many questions.
That's good.
I YouTube anything I can. Like, there was actually YouTube videos on the computer program that we use, Sunlink. So it didn't tell me everything that I needed to know, but I mean, I studied hardcore. I asked questions left and right. I would even ask them to critique me because everyone was like scared, I think, of hurting feelings and being like, no, this is what you need to work on, where I'm like, no, just be honest. What am I doing wrong so I can do it right, please? So it was a lot. So I went from just setting people in beds, cleaning, a lot of just bad things, a lot of bad things. It's a sales associate job, so you got to constantly push sales with each client. I got an email. I was in charge of customer service, scheduling people, hiring people, all account issues. It was just a lot. Paperwork, filing. Like, I had no choice but to like get it together.
Why do you think, because obviously there's a lot of responsibility with this. What do you think made the owners give you that much control? I mean, that quick into it? Because it was a month into you working there, right? And then all of a sudden they're just like, okay, well, you can go ahead and take care of all of these things. What do you think was about you working there that kind of like led them to give them your trust?
Because I showed that I cared, and any test they gave me, I didn't want to just be good enough. I wanted to make sure, no, this is the best that you've seen. Any little thing they get. You want me to sell and know my product? Okay, I'm going to list pretty much everything that I can about this product and tell you why you should be using it. If my customer wasn't happy, I went out of my way to make sure that they were happy. Just anything that they wanted me to do, I wanted to be like perfect at it. And they saw that, I deeply cared about the salon and I wanted, to do good. Not to say that I'm a people pleaser. I mean, I kind of am, but I don't ever want to like disappoint anybody or make anyone mad. So it's just, I take on responsibility and I try to do my absolute best, and I force you to tell me if I'm not. And then I correct it.
That's great. That energy, I think you have applied to different areas of your life. And one area that, one of the reasons why we kind of like first started meeting up was TikTok, which is this platform. For those that don't know what TikTok is, it is literally this social media app that has taken the world by storm. In fact, right now we're going through kind of like this phase where we don't know whether or not TikTok is going to.
Yeah.
But it is this app that I think, in my opinion, has done an amazing job at forcing people to stay on it. They have this algorithm, the For You page, which basically constantly gives you, I guess, fresh and interesting, videos on there. And you have executed really well on that platform. You have, like 300,000 followers at this point? Where are we at right now?
We're almost at 340.
Okay, very nice.
So I'm excited.
So how have you done that? Tell me about kind of like the steps that you took to, get accustomed to that platform.
Well, honestly, I was like anyone else. I saw like the first ad for TikTok on Facebook, and it was just strictly like cosplay. I was like, oh, this is fascinating.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, it was like a super cute dude, and I was like, I like your stuff. Then when I
Nice.
got on there and I followed, and I realized it was a girl, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Okay, so I didn't really know what TikTok was, but it was because of that video that made me kind of like explore it. So then I just got addicted, and I was like scrolling through the For You page, and before I knew it, it was like 3 a.m. and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This is fun. I want to do this. So I originally.
How long ago? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
How long ago did you start?
It was like I feel like the beginning of 2019. It was after I got married. I got married 4/20 of 19. So it was after I moved in with my husband. So it was like summerish of 2019.
So we're probably coming up on your first year.
Yes.
So 1 year, 300,000 followers. That 340,000 followers.
I had to restart. Remember, my first account got
yes.
banned. I was so mad.
What happened with that?
I don't know.
You still don't know to this day?
No, because like at first, like I started like anyone. I like would lip sync things, and I was like, yeah, well, no one's really watching this. And I remember being at South Beach one day, and I was like, I am so bored. And I had this awful lady come in, and she was just so nasty. And I have so many Karen stories that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to vent. I can't really get on Facebook and, bash these people because, they'll probably see it or anything. And I never give names, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to recreate this story. So as soon as I posted that, like an hour later, it went viral, and I was like,
yeah,
you sickos. You enjoy my pain. But it was funny because people related to it.
Sure.
And then I just kind of kept dipping my toes into like customer service videos and explaining my stories in like, a funny way. And yes, some of them are a little exaggerated. I mean, people like that better.
Sure.
But that's what I kept doing, and people loved it. And I got like over 100,000 followers once I started doing like little Karen skits and everything. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, to this day, I don't know what I did. I got on, and I got on Instagram, and a lot of people were messaging me on Instagram. What happened to your TikTok? I can't find you. What happened? And I was like, what? No, maybe you typed it in wrong or something. And sure enough, I pull up my app, and they told me that I had been banned for violating the rules and guidelines.
Any idea of why?
No.
At all?
At all. They didn't give me a warning. At least, like, there have been, like, some videos, like, I've posted, like, say, for instance, there was, like, a knife in the background or anything like that violated the rules and guidelines. They've let me know.
Yeah.
And, like, they've either muted the video or taken it down, like, since I've had my new account. But back then, I got no warning.
Oh, my God.
They didn't tell me, well, we took this video down because it violated the rules and guidelines. They just took everything away.
How upset were you? Can you kind of like recall that moment in time when you realized that all your hard work that you've been doing to build this account had been completely taken away?
I was a bit of a baby. I'm not gonna lie. They're more than, I don't even like calling them followers. I call them friends because they interact with me. I interact with them. They say that I make their day, but in reality, when they're nice and everything, they make my day. I look forward to reading their comments. But during the time that I did get banned, it was during a very difficult time in my life. I'm a huge animal person. Like, they're my babies. But at the time, my dog Bella, who I'd had for 10 years, I basically, kind of grew up with her, she had newly passed away. So I was kind of using that as a distraction and, like, reaching out to them. So then when I realized that was gone too and I didn't have contact with those people anymore, I was devastated, but I was also really pissed because I'm just being honest, we all see what's on TikTok.
Sure.
And there's some nasty stuff, just from the audios to these kids half naked dancing around, like just really vulgar things that me personally, like, no judgment, I wouldn't post. I didn't post. So I was just really confused as to why
you and not them.
Exactly. And, like, I emailed them, I appealed it, everything.
Nothing.
They just basically said, we're denying your appeal.
So I did hear in here that, some of your followers had actually trickled into Instagram. Yes. Right? So they were contacting you through your Instagram page and I guess asking you. So what is the conversion rate there? I mean, you have about, 340,000 on TikTok. What does that convert into? Is it pretty high on Instagram as well?
Well, it's a lot higher than it was before TikTok. Like, I had like maybe 500 followers or so. But also, if I'm being perfectly honest, I suck at uploading content to Instagram. Most of the stuff I upload is like from my TikTok or whatnot. But anyway, I'm almost to 10,000, so I get about roughly like 100, or it depends on the day, honestly, like around 100 followers a day on Instagram. So it helps. They definitely,
play off of each other.
Exactly. Like, you can definitely succeed more on other platforms if you already have kind of a following on one. They just kind of like go over.
So, really important question here. Obviously, you had an Instagram before, and you were not as successful on Instagram as you were on TikTok. Why do you think that's the case?
Honestly, I just think TikTok gives you so many different opportunities to stand out. Like, they're constantly throwing you out. It's not, I'm sorry, but Instagram, it's a little bit boring to me. Like, pictures and stuff here and there where people can be so creative on this app, rather it's just, lip syncing or posting their own contact and scripts and everything. It's more entertaining to me than what it is on Instagram. And I just feel like people have a better chance standing out on TikTok versus Instagram. But honestly, I mean, if you think about it, these platforms, they've strived at some point, just like Snapchat, and then kind of Instagram took over, and they kind of fed off of each other. And now TikTok, it's this huge app that everybody's into, and if you're not on it, you're making a mistake.
That's right. That's right. So I have to ask here, your name on TikTok is WheezyFitness 2.0. I understand the 2.0, but I don't understand WheezyFitness. Where does that come from?
Okay, so kind of like to backtrack earlier when I told you that I had severe chronic asthma.
Okay.
Going to my doctors, I was on so many different asthma medications, and I asked them, I was like, is there anything at all that I can do at home that's going to help my lung capacity whatsoever? And she looks at me and she goes, exercise. And I just look at her and I'm like, you do realize that I get out of breath just walking to the kitchen. How am I supposed to do that? She's like, no, just hear me out. Do whatever you can. Like, if you can, do a couple jumping jacks, if you can, do a couple just something to get your heart rate up a little bit, move a little bit. She's like, it's going to be hard, even if you have to take breaks here and there, but exercise has been proven to help your lung capacity. So I was like, okay, I gotcha. So I start YouTubing everything.
Sure.
And I'll never forget the very first person that kind of motivated me. Her name is Skyla.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I'm not.
But she's just...
In Statesboro?
No, she's a...
Oh, she's a YouTuber.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber. Super beautiful body. But I looked up to her because, a lot of the times when people think, ooh, pretty girl, they're like skinny or whatnot. No, this girl, she's thick. She had some muscles. She had abs. She had a nice little booty. And I was like, that's what I want. Well, she had so many free videos on her YouTube, and I'll never forget the first one I did was push-ups for beginners.
Okay.
The first time I tried to push up, I just slammed my face to the ground. It wasn't fun, but a 30-minute workout video, it would take me over an hour and a half to complete.
So you would pause and go get it.
Yep.
Pause and go at it again.
I would have to take inhaler breaks, but wow. I did this for several months into years to where eventually, my breathing was so much better. I'm still on a lot of asthma medications, but, I'm not going to the ER every freaking month like I was before all this. So I developed a passion for fitness. It was kind of like an addiction. That's all I would watch on YouTube. That's all I would watch on the television, was just people working out, and it motivated me to do that. So the wheezy part comes from my asthma, and then the fitness is that was kind of my passion, and they kind of go hand in hand now. So
I love that. I mean, now that you kind of tell me that story, obviously extremely inspiring. There's so many people out there that, have pre-existing conditions that, they don't know that exercise will be able to solve all those things. And it's amazing that you've been able to do that. What I keep hearing time and time again is that you have this tenacity, right? Anything that you set your mind to, you literally go 100% for, and, see it through, right? What is coming up next for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, I recently just purchased online classes for NASM.
Okay.
It's National Academy of Sports Medicine, so it's a personal training class. So I'm working on getting my certification. Okay. And then me and my husband are actually turning our spare bedroom into a little home gym.
Awesome.
So hopefully within, the next few months or so, it's a 6-month course. Basically, you have 6 months to complete it, but it's a 10-week course from the time that you start. So it's going to take some time to fix that room up and everything, but that's my passion. And I know how good I felt like when I first got into it and seeing your body do these things you had no idea they were capable of, and knowing that it's not just, about physical, it's mental, it's internal health. But also, I don't just want to do one thing. I love my TikTok.
Sure.
I'm still going to be doing TikTok. I'm going to be dipping my toes in YouTube. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
Okay. I believe that you will.
But I think personally, I think, everybody's goal in life, especially in today's society, because it's easier than ever, is to be your own boss, make your own schedule, and just enjoy what you're doing. It's not about how much money, per se, you can get in your account. Yeah, you want to be comfortable. I mean, you need money to survive. But for me personally, it's about being happy. So I know that personal training will make me happy. YouTube makes me very happy. Not YouTube, sorry. TikTok makes me very happy. And then, just kind of like dipping my toes into other platforms as well. You don't have to stop at just one.
I think, one of the inspiring things in this is everything that you said. But on top of that, I think there's this idea that a college education is what makes you successful. And I think that you've kind of like proven that not to be correct, because even though that you didn't have that college education, you still go after everything that you want to do in your life. And I think that that is one of the biggest things that you can put out there. For somebody that's kind of like on the fence of whether or not they want to make that decision or not, what would you say to them?
That not to dog college at all. Like, it's very important. Like, yeah, if you want to be a surgeon or, a doctor or anything like that, yeah, you need to go to college. But, I do not think at all that you have to go to college to be successful. It's just this stereotype that people have, placed in our mind growing up that you're not anybody unless you go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is going to have that opportunity to go to college. Rather, they just don't have the money. Maybe they don't really have the education for it. But I don't think for a second that, you should think that you're only going to be successful if you go to college. You're not going to be successful if you don't do anything.
That's huge.
Like, if you just sit there and you fantasize about, where you want your life to be, and you don't take steps to get there, I mean, it's just a dream. It's never going to happen, and you have only yourself to blame if you don't do things. And I think that's one thing I think people kind of like hold themselves back on, is like just to get started with TikTok. Sometimes people, in my opinion, they overthink it. Like, mm-hmm. Oh, I need to have this really great phone. I need to have this super amazing, lighting, and, it's just got to look like professionally done. No, it doesn't. It just needs to stand out and be, catch the eye. You need to be yourself doing it. I mean, you can strive. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before, but there is he's one of these fitness influencers that I got into. His name's Christian Guzman.
Mm-hmm.
He started YouTube while he was in college. And, it was just kind of like, mediocre, him just filming himself in his dorm room and everything. Well, he got to see all these, overwhelming flows of people who really liked what he was doing, and he was inspiring them while he was in college. And so then he got to see, not only is he helping people and he's having fun doing it, he's making money off of it.
That's right.
So it became not just a job to him. He was happy doing it, he was successful doing it, and he dropped out of college. Well, Christian Guzman never had a job in his life. So he just kind of went full force into YouTube. Then he started his own brand called Alphalete.
I think I've heard of him, yes.
Yeah, so it was like a clothing brand. And, I mean, he kind of started off like everyone else did, just kind of printing the logo onto T-shirts and stuff. But he did something. He started something. And then it converted into, he got this huge gym. He got his own warehouse. It just kept getting bigger and bigger to where in a few months he just kept outgrowing everything. Then he came out with his own energy drink.
Wow.
Called 3D Energy. So, I mean, he is all over the place. And this guy never even had a job in his life.
That's right.
didn't go to college, and he is extremely successful.
I think that's the dream that I think a lot of people look at, right? And I think that, how do you feel about that? Is that something do you think he's lucky?
No, he worked his ass off. Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think there are some people that we have seen, I won't name names on TikTok, that I'm just kind of like, why?
Uh-huh.
Why do you have like 78 million followers? But whatever. Because it's not creative stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so in some cases, yeah, I do think maybe some people have a little luck to it. But also, even if it is luck, they are still putting work into this platform. They're not just sitting there and, ooh, I have so many followers. They're still striving to get more. So no, I don't think like it's always luck. I just think it's hard work. Anything you go into, if you want to be successful, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to get off your butt and do something. That's just like with TikTok. It's not, just twiddling your thumbs. There's a lot of thought that goes into lot of these creators.
How long does it take for you to kind of like think of a concept and then execute?
Well, if it's just like personal experiences that I've had, not very long. It's just I just go.
Uh-huh.
But if it's like if it's like little scripts with my husband, or if I have certain ideas that kind of strive away from my original content, I honestly I get quiet, and then I get me a notepad, and I just think, and I just start writing things. Like I write my own scripts and everything. And that way I have so many different ideas for videos, and then I will pick a day, and I will just shoot pretty much all day long, get a huge lineup of videos to where, life gets busy sometimes. That way I constantly have something that I can upload. It's just, kind of thinking it out properly and doing it. So the thought process takes me a few hours so far as ideas, but shooting doesn't take me that long. It's just having so many ideas. There's so many videos. I think the longest it takes me to edit a video is if I have multiple characters that I play.
I see that.
Or if it's for a company that reached out to me, because I put a lot more thought into it, and filters and effects and everything. So I mean, it's work. It could take me all day to shoot, for a week, or 2 days to shoot for a week.
So let me ask you this. For you, obviously you have kind of built a following on TikTok. Have you gotten to the point where you're being recognized in Statesboro? Are people coming up to you like, oh my God, I've seen you all over TikTok? Has that unknowns, has that happened already?
It's funny that you say that, because honestly, I think TikTok, they kind of throw you out more in your area, in my opinion.
I see that.
I feel like that's what they kind of do, because now since Corona, no, because I wear my face mask. Uh-huh. But there was times I couldn't go in Walmart without people coming up and talking to me, and they were surprised that I'd talk to them as well. Or going to restaurants or bars in Savannah before all this craziness happened with my family, and people at the bar asked me if I was on TikTok. Chili's right down here. Uh-huh. There's a lot of people that I saw regularly that would serve us, and we have our favorite servers and everything, and then they figured out that I was on TikTok, and I had a lot of people during that time in Chili's come to our table. They didn't even know me, but they were like, oh, this girl's on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
So we want to say hi and get pictures with her just in case.
Just in case of what?
I guess in case that I get somewhere and I don't know. But I was like, sure. But it's a lot of stuff like that, and they're surprised that, I talk to them or I acknowledge them or anything like that. I'm literally the same person in person as what I am on TikTok. I am the least judgmental person you will ever meet. I love people for the most part. There's always some people that get under my skin. But I don't care how many years go by, I will never be the type of person to look down at someone and think that I'm better than them, ever. So I think they're kind of set back, that I'm like, oh, hey, come here, give me a hug. How are you? What's your name? Or that I'm okay with them taking pictures and everything, because it's just me. It's just Skyla. I'm glad that you follow along, but, I'm nobody special per se.
The authenticity of who you are, I think, really shines through. Even through our conversation right now, it's really who you are on TikTok is who you are, right? But Skyla, I wanted to, first thank you so much for spending some time with us. There was so many things in your story that I actually didn't realize, and really inspired by, your journey of what you've been able to do. And I wanted to ask if there's anything that you wanted to kind of like tell the audience, just maybe something that, you would like to tell every single person out there.
As cheesy as it may sound, don't doubt yourself. If you have your mindset on something that you want to do in your life, do it. Don't ever think, oh, well, this person's so successful at it, I could never do it. You're never going to know unless you try. Don't worry about everyone else. Don't worry about what they're thinking. Just focus on what it is that you're wanting to do, and make sure that you don't beat yourself up if you don't succeed at first. Just keep doing and try to perfect it in any way possible. Just have a little bit more faith in yourself, because some of you guys doubt yourself too much, and it's not good.
Well, thank you so much. WheezyFitness 2.0. WheezyFitness on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. Thank you so much for your time, and then I appreciate